And we're live.
Yeah. What's good, people? It's your boy Icarus Gray.
And it's your homeboy Wordplay TJ.
And this is the No Rhyme or Reason podcast, where we talk about everything.
Everything for no reason at all. And we're live.
Yeah. What's good, people? It's your boy Icarus Gray.
And it's your homeboy Wordplay TJ.
And this is the No Rhyme or Reason podcast, where we talk about everything.
Everything for no reason at all.
We're back, but today we're actually Clark Gray.
What?
There's a reason.
I see. I see.
Hey, get what up?
Because
Yep.
we're talking about groups.
Hey.
I wasn't ready to share that with the world, but whatever.
Oh. you wasn't hiding your son from the world. You was hiding the world from your son.
Exactly. And the son is our secret rap duo that we were gonna unveil one day in in the ether. But since nobody listens to this podcast, we're fine.
Oh gosh. Right in the gut, man.
Boom. Yeah, so we are looking at Billboard's top 10 rap groups of all time.
All time.
Celebrating the 50th anniversary of hip hop, which is going to be next month on August 11th. And we want to continue our own celebration and make sure that we recognize these rap groups. And so therefore we're going to make a no rhyme or tier list. Yeah.
Review. Whoa.
It's in front of you.
It is. But one more time. I got it.
We're going to make a no rhyme or tier list.
Oh, wait. Point to it. No rhyme or tier list.
Where are we pointing? In order to rank their top 10, because we don't necessarily agree with where their top 10 is. And so we're going to make our own top 10 and compare them on this tier list. We have the following rankings: classic, amazing, good, okay, trash, and why.
For what?
What's really hard is to put any of these groups in trash or why. But we're going to compare these groups to one another and be able to rank them. And that helps me get to basically the rules of this game. And part of those rules are kind of, I would say they're truncated or edited for the sake of this type of tier list.
Because it's way different than our others, where we can be a bit more, we're being subjective, but like we're being extremely suggestive.
Subjective.
I meant to say subjective, but I don't know why suggestive. What are we, like, making innuendos on all these groups?
We're going to make sure that everybody understands exactly where we're going and they obey our commands.
Whoa.
So speaking of last week and previous weeks, we have ranked classic 90s hip hop albums or singles, basically, records.
Yeah, we did singles and we did the decade. So from 90 all the way to 99.
Yeah, so we ranked songs from those from those years, from 90 to 99, and you can go on to YouTube and watch that video, youtube.com/No Rhyme or Reason podcast. Be sure to subscribe there. Be sure to like that video, and you can check out more of our celebration of hip hop. And if you're listening on the audio, be sure to watch that. And if you're watching us, be sure to go listen to the full thing to get all of the details and the context. But I'm going to take us back and explain the rules for this particular...
You going to take us back? Way back.
Situation.
Back into time.
Sure. Number one, our rules are pretty consistent with our old rules, but we have one slight adjustment. Both of us must agree on a ranking. We must default to the expert in a disagreement. I feel like both of us know this level of hip hop at the same level. Sales and awards don't matter. And we know these are iconic. So where do they compare to each other? Is how we're gonna deal with this tier list, because Nostalgia Joe over here wants everything to be classic.
But this is more like start one, bench one, cut one. It is kind of the mindset you have to kind of go with the teams or with the groups, because we're just thinking about it from a, like we said, a subjective perspective and comparing them against each other. And like, okay, if I were telling the story of hip hop, how with these groups, only these groups, would I compare them against each other and rank them is what we're doing basically.
Yeah, so I've done a lot of kind of pre-ramble currently, and I just want to, I for now, I want to get into the meat of this conversation, and let's talk about this top 10. Basically, we're going to say who's on the top 10 from 10 all the way down to number 1. And then we're going to look at 11 through 20 and say who we think should have been in this top 10 and possibly who could have been rejected out of there.
Yeah.
So,
but again, we're only comparing these people to the people in the list.
Yeah. So we're going to make some people mad. Like, hands down, guaranteed, it's subjective. Like, there's no way for us to be perfect. So coming in number 10, Billboard has The Roots as number 10 in the top 50 greatest rap groups of all time. What do you feel about that?
For me, it's a little low, but maybe I'm ranking that based off of lyricism and based off of impact. I think that the longevity of The Roots and just their overall catalog, where are the misses? Yeah,
I think it's hard to rank their albums, but they also like really take their time making albums. But they usually deliver because they are taking their time making albums, and they have an aesthetic that is not very common amongst hip hop groups, where they play most of their instruments. And Tariq, obviously, Black Thought, is a lyricist and probably one of the best lyricists
of all time. Just no cap.
And so when it comes to him and the combination of Questlove and the rest of the band, I would also put them higher on the list. Probably somewhere top 5 or maybe somewhere in 5 or 6 range. Honestly.
That would be about where I am. I just don't think 10 is correct for me. And I think it's mostly because I think we're doing a lot of nostalgia in terms of who did what, when, where, why, to me.
Yeah, 100%. So next on the list is number 9, De La Soul. And with De La Soul, I love De La Soul. But for me, and this is common across rap groups, by the way, I don't know if their body of work is as prolific enough for me to like keep them at number 9. And so I would probably in my head slot them somewhere in the top 20, not the top 10.
I would do the same, and I think for the same reasons that you've done it, but also the impact outside of the impact. I don't see the ripples.
Yeah,
like I know that there is impact from De La Soul, but the ripples are way more noticeable with like especially some of the groups that are in the lower 11. Like, 'cause I already know one group that I would move up, just off impact and impressions of what they've done, not just for a couple rappers, but for a whole bunch of rappers.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
But we'll get there. So yeah, the impact is just not as big to me to be at number 9.
Yeah, so I would definitely move De La back a little bit, and by the also rest in peace to
Yeah.
Posthumous. There we go. Yeah, because we can't go without saying that. So the next up is Salt and Pepper as number 8 on this list. How do you feel about this?
I feel better about it than De La Soul, but I don't know. I might go like 11, like 15.
Yeah, in rap groups in general.
Yeah, in rap groups.
And we did a little research before this, and it's like Salt and Pepper basically are the only female rap groups outside of City Girls that we know of that can like really fit on this list. And we're saying that in the range of like being that iconic.
Yeah,
because female rap groups exist, but they're nowhere on the level of City Girls or Salt and Pepper. And
even I guess on the list they consider TLC a rap group, but I mean like
yeah, but they're not.
So, no,
there's a rapper in the group.
So like if you're just talking like pure rap, they're the only ones, and I personally would like more.
Yeah,
I really think that female rap like supergroup would be dope. I mean, I get sometimes we always talk about like politics and all these other things that come along with doing like a female group, but I just know that we could do it, and I think we could do it well, and I really want to see that. And if y'all got any suggestions, because I know it's a lot of people that are probably not on this list. I know it's some female rap groups. Shoot me something in the comments, because I want to listen to somebody.
Help us out.
Like, for real.
Yeah. Next up, number 7, Eric B. and Rakim. What do you think?
No complaints here. Would probably move higher. Just off of Rakim's legacy of cadence changing.
Yeah.
So
he was a pioneer in like changing the cadence of rap and from bump to school and then to
one more time
to school and then
back to school.
to what you would more like traditionally be into. I'm fine. Yeah. So the more syllabic type of rap style.
So maybe up a couple spots.
Yeah, I would put them up, but I'm concerned about catalog in that regard. So that's where I start to get a little like, okay, yeah, they can go up as far as impact to culture, but what happens when you don't produce a lot of work?
What's the most classic of the works?
Of their works?
Yeah.
Like Eric B. is president.
That's what I figured.
Yeah. Maybe paid in full. Maybe people would say paid in full, but.
So with that, if we're judging them against themselves, did they grow? Did they peak? Was there the fall off? Was it just timing? Are we giving too much credence to the what Rakim brought?
I think their album "Don't Sweat the Technique" is still pretty iconic, and that was 1992. So, I mean, it feels like they put enough effort in with 4 records, and they had a single on the Juice soundtrack, and so I think it's more so their spread for their albums was almost like back to back to back to back to back.
Okay,
and we're talking about longevity in 1990 standards and 1980 standards when people had the mindset that this wouldn't be around anyway. So maybe you're on point. Yeah. They can move up, and they do stand the test of time.
Okay. You just go. Good God, words. I just wanted to filter through the thought process, because I know like impact is huge. Mm-hmm. Because if you think about the branching family tree of who this artist inspired, that can kind of move people up. And I don't think that's necessarily nostalgia. It's kind of like, who was your graduating class? Who did you bring into the game? And I think that kind of, matters a lot.
Yeah, I think, it matters a lot. But also, like, anybody could say that they influence other people, or anybody could say that their influence is from other people. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and then does that make, like, if my influence is LL Cool J, does that make him higher on the list? You know what I mean? I think once you start to get in the realm of, like, 30 people said their influence is this, then you're better off.
Who's next?
That's what I'm trying to get to. My computer was buffering a little bit, so I just wanted to switch off to a different browser. We're down to number 6, though. And number 6 is Public Enemy. Are they in the right place?
This one is a bit hard for me.
Yeah.
Mostly because with Public Enemy, we're talking relevant lyrics. We're talking being incredibly outspoken. And we are talking overall impact.
Right. So when we talk about the essence of hip hop, or at least the culture of hip hop as the 4 pillars, mm-hmm. they represent all the pillars of hip hop, no matter what, as a group.
Yeah.
And both Flavor Flav and Chuck D are hands down like icons in and of themselves as individuals. Mm. Where I get a little concerned is maybe going back to like longevity in their catalog, but again, like, man, I can't hold them to longevity standards when people are pretty, no disrespect to them, wash and rinse in the 90s to the business. The business didn't want people around for like 10, 20 years.
No, because it was a quick little cash grab of getting what's popping in the times is what they felt.
Yeah.
The other thing that's difficult for me is basically, again, if I'm comparing them to the people in their group that I think are, or people in their grouping that I think are impactful. So you're talking about NWA is who I would like even put in that same stratosphere of outspoken, talking about different things. And for me...
Gotcha. So the dynamic of Public Enemy led to the dynamic of NWA.
Right.
Historically.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of like a tough one for me.
Got it. It's also tough, and I don't know that they need to. They honestly need to move. This next group doesn't need to move either. Like Run DMC.
No, they don't need to move. They're 5, and I mean it's Run DMC. Like I don't. The combination of hip hop to rock, the combination of just overall flashiness and style. Rest in peace, Jam Master Jay. Just. This is one of those iconic, like Mount Rushmore kind of groups to me.
Yeah, and that's where the list ends off. Yeah. Is like a Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
You got Tribe Called Quest at number 4.
Okay.
You have NWA as number 3.
Okay, see.
You got number 2 is Wu-Tang. And then you got Outkast as number 1.
I mean, yep.
I don't feel like there's any way for people to argue that. And Outkast has one of those things that feels like a privilege, is longevity of record. But I think that's because year over year, between Big Boy and Andre's creativity is stuff that like only they could write.
They are the only people who could write it, but they're the only people who can articulate struggle in a fanciful way. Like Outkast really made us all. It was basically like the hood Willy Wonka chocolate factory.
Yeah, and they weren't necessarily like street dudes.
Exactly.
So it's like in a hip hop list, how do we end up with not street dudes on a number 1?
Right. That still worked in the streets and
had
did a
the
lot of
essence
Atlanta,
of,
but weren't like propagating a certain gangster rap style. It was storytelling. It felt like this is the environment and this is how I work in this environment.
it feels like these are our first alternative hip hop.
Yeah.
In general.
While still being relevant though. That's the part that's so amazing about them. And we'll get into like the whole tier list and stuff, which I mean, clear where they're going. But I don't know in terms of the entire scope of hip hop groups, like who can even recapture that. Like a lot of times I hear them talking about Earth Gang and things of that nature, but it's so hard to replicate the creativity that is Andre Benjamin and, Daddy Fat Sax.
You can't.
Like,
So I had the privilege of
oh yeah.
so I was moving around the country, like promoting Breakfast and Biggie and Nothing Less, and like just kind of trying to usher myself around and grow my career. And I was on the way home back to my grandparents' house in Memphis, and then I was going to go home to Little Rock. And I caught a flight from Austin to Atlanta, and on that flight, I met Big Boy.
Hey, and then what happened?
Yeah, so it was weird. So like, Big Boy had just did a concert at the University of Arkansas, and so I felt like I had a talking point. I had I saw you live. The show was incredible, and that's what I said to him when we got off the plane. He was waiting on his road manager to kind of get a few things and kind of see what happened, and he was really cool about the conversation. His road manager was really cool, and later on they invited myself and Josh, one of our former artists, to
shout out Young Everhart.
Yeah, shout out to Josh Everhart. They invited him and I backstage to a show, and we got to watch him and Little Dragon perform together, and that was incredible. My phone was dead, so I didn't get a chance to take a picture with him but I did capture his road manager's number, so and kept in touch with him for a little bit after that. And yeah, that's one of those things that reminds me all the time that I belong here, because it's those types of moments.
Okay.
But that couldn't have been a better rapper for me to meet and to see work on stage, because it speaks to why they belong at number 1. So let's keep on going and talk about 11 through 20 just really briefly, and just kind of determine whether or not they should have gone in the top 10.
Okay.
So Migos. This is controversial. Because they're skirting the line here.
I think they're fine where they are, and that's just off of general impact. We know what they changed. We know what they brought to the game. In what is basically the Coliseum that is Atlanta hip hop to do what they did. There's not too many people that can match that.
Yeah, and I think I would agree with that. Is that like they're iconic, but they need a little bit more time to like rest in season.
Oh, I get what you're saying. It's one of those like Lil Wayne impacts. You know, a lot of people who are from that Lil Wayne tree who rap like Lil Wayne, who try to freestyle and do all these things. Same thing with the Migos. They shifted an entire culture. Yeah, see what I did there?
No.
God, I can't stand you. You are my nemesis.
Sometimes.
No. But
that was our agreement back in first grade.
It is. We're rivals forever. But yeah, they shifted so much. I don't know that they need that much time. I think that once we get further and further away from it, we'll really see the change that they made.
Yeah. So the next one is Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. And if you go back and listen to our tier list from previous week about the 90s hip hop, like I think they should be a little bit higher on this list than 11 through 20 because they influenced some of the most iconic records that are within our time. Not only their own records, but the records of other people that ended up on that tier list from last week.
I agree.
So I think they need to be a little bit higher. They probably for me replace De La Soul.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. So next up is Mobb Deep. Another iconic group that I got a chance to meet one of the members of.
Hey.
Yeah. I can tell that story too.
Go. Please do. Please do.
Let's first talk about like where they belong. Should they go higher in the top 10?
I think they can stay where they are, and the reason being, am I moving them up for their lyricism,
or are you moving them up for shook ones?
or am I moving them up for? Or am I moving them up for Quiet Storm?
Yeah, true.
Like one of the two.
Look, Prodigy and Havoc, hands down, one of the best duos.
Yeah.
I would have to say that they need to move up because of Shook Ones, but I don't know if they make it to top 10. Maybe they like inch a few numbers up to 11.
Yeah, I can see that. But then again, I would still then be arguing where am I putting Migos. But
yeah.
You
know. The story goes, I was in New York City. I was on the East Side, and I was promoting Breakfast and Biggie on radio.
Hey.
And I was on the radio show out there. I can't remember my homie's name, but they put me on, and he still like reaches out to this day and will still communicate, but I can't for the life of me. I'm bad with names, but I was promoting the single, and I just finished playing it on air, and then I premiered my song 5 a.m. with Rockstar.
Hey.
And later on we went to shoot the video in Brooklyn, and I walk outside of the station, and me and Rob were sitting outside, and Havoc pulls up. And I'm just like, is that? So I walk up to Havoc. I was like, hey, I love your work. Would love to like connect and make work or whatever it may be. And formed a.
Nice.
Got to meet Havoc and give him his flowers, in person. So that was nice. Again, one of those magic little confirmations of where I feel like I need to be. The Fugees. This is a problem for me because I would put them in top 5.
Yeah, because I feel like this is what I expect
The number 14,
from,
by the way. Sorry.
Groups, right? Mm-hmm. So not only did Lauren rap, but she could sing.
Yeah.
And the same thing with all the members, basically.
Yeah, so it's. I think what's hardest is that their records are mostly like kind of R&B records.
Yeah. But the rapping, but it doesn't.
But they're still a
detract.
hip hop group. They're still a hip hop group, hands down.
But it also doesn't detract though. So like when they do the R&B records, but then go right into the rap flawlessly, it just gives you a better listening experience that is unmatched by a lot of other groups. Same reason why we have a lot of things like with Outkast,
right,
where you will get the singing and stuff sometimes
they're
by
still
Andre,
yeah.
Sometimes by members of the Goody Mob, but with the Fugees, you just had that all in one group.
Right.
So you're not going outside to do a lot of different things. And it kind of makes you a bigger powerhouse because you don't have to go outside of your impactful group to create impact in terms of your records.
Yeah. So I would. So would you move them up?
I would. I think about where you said, like, I think I might do a 5. If I'm being pushed, I could do an 8 or a 9 just because the overall impact.
Yeah.
In terms of like, okay, well, who did you usher in? What classes did you usher in? Who's trying to be like you? I don't see a lot of that had the same kind of staying power.
Yeah. So Naughty by Nature comes in 15 on this list. You think it's legit?
Pretty legit. I mean, like, I like Naughty by Nature, but
our list last week, they got some hits.
Oh, for sure. Like, it's not a question. And it's not like any level of disrespect, but I just think like it's one of, like, again, if I'm weighing this against the other groups, there is not the same level of impact. Like, I've got you on here because when you were who you were, you was it. You was hot. You was fire. But to me, if that's it, then I can only place you at the place of, okay, your songs were fire, but you didn't move the needle left or right in terms of overall inspirations and things of that nature. Like, yeah, if I'm going to take a sample here and there, but impact-wise, I don't see it.
Yeah.
For me. 16
is Beastie Boys. And even though they're white, they still need to be in the top 10 for me.
For me as well, it's starting to get hard now. I see where we're having difficulties.
Have you spent any time with their records? Mm-hmm. Okay, so I would put them right next to Tribe because they are the white version of Tribe, if you could put it that way.
Yeah, and they were able to have a style that was so authentically hip hop. Mm-hmm. So where Rakim changed the cadence and pushed things forward, to me, they took the boom and had like this.
So where they kind of tag the end of their rhyme in unison.
And it's just, but it was so smooth and cool, and like the bars were still hitting for me. Yeah. So I think consistency wise, especially by the time like in the early 2000s, like to have, I think the Intergalactic album.
They came out with another record. And yeah.
Like, and it was still dope. Like, I wasn't like, oh, you sound old. Yeah. So that's why I would like definitely have to. I would definitely move them up.
Again, rest in peace, Adam Yonch, MCA. Yeah.
And rest in peace, Prodigy. I forgot to say that earlier.
Agreed. 17, Cypress Hill. So we can't take credit away from Cypress Hill.
No.
But the one thing that I remember Cypress Hill for is a goofy story from the art room at high school.
Right.
So we were in the art room in high school at the time of am I thinking about this wrong? No, I'm not thinking about this wrong. So we were in the art room, and this is the time where ringtones were like not polyphonic,
Yeah.
but like monophonic, and like they just sound like a lot of beeps and boops. So we were in the art room, and my art teacher, Mr. McCann, he was like, "Man, I want to add some ringtones to my thing." So he just hops on AT&T and starts playing the ringtones out loud so we can suggest what ringtones he should get. And he's like, "Listen to this one." And then you hear,
oh man, did y'all suggest that for that man?
Insane in the Brain comes on, and we that class, the class 2006, we didn't forget it.
Why would we?
Yeah, that whole class spent at least 3 years together with the same kind of kids in the same class, and that's one story that we all have in common.
So do you think they're properly at the right position?
I think they're exactly where they need to be.
I could agree.
3-6 Mafia, though? Number 18?
The Southerner in me wants to move them up.
I would definitely move them up.
And, I mean, how many hip-hop groups got an Oscar?
Who would you bump?
Oh, good.
I mean, again, you could replace them with De La Soul for me.
Probably, I could replace them with De La Soul. I could replace Naughty by Nature. They could go
Naughty
up
by
there.
Nature is Naughty by Nature is still 11 to 20 though.
Oh, top 10. Yeah,
if you're gonna replace the top 10,
yeah, we're still like taking out De La for me.
So, sorry, I'm moving around quite a lot. So above 3-6 Mafia's G Unit.
This is another one where I think your longevity argument comes into play. There could have been more.
Yeah.
Because it was another one that was like 50, Dre, Eminem, Jimmy Iovine were in a bag to where you were not missing. The production was going to be spotless and there weren't going to be a whole lot of misses. If not for all of the outside stuff with Young Buck, the outside stuff with Banks later on, and just the outside stuff with like I think the outlying members, whether it was Game or whoever, you didn't get the same level of longevity that I think that they should have had, because they could have been top 10. Because like with the team that they had, how could you not, outside of just doing stuff you shouldn't be doing?
Yeah. I want to talk about this next group. I don't believe that G Unit should be moved.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
At all. But UGK should definitely be moved.
I think, again, top 10, I could feel like 3. And I'm saying that because we don't get trap music amongst other artists without UGK.
I don't think you get. I think, and this is another group that's kind of missing from this list.
Yeah.
Scarface and
Ghetto Boys.
Ghetto Boys. Thank you.
Boys.
So UGK, Ghetto Boys, I feel like they set the tone, and not excluding DJ Screw and everybody from.
But just in groups.
From that.
So just in groups, they're not excluded, because a lot of the Texas collectives were more collectives than groups.
Let me finish.
Go ahead.
Please. UGK Ghetto Boys are in the rights. They deserve a lot of credit for cementing what the sound of Texas sounds like.
Okay.
Including DJ Screw, including Mike Jones, including Slim Thug, et cetera, Lil Flip.
Yeah.
And a lot of other Texas icons. And so I don't see a Meg Thee Stallion coming out if UGK ain't there. I don't see that style if UGK ain't there. And that's why I would move them to top 10.
But it's also not just Texas, though. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's even a huge
I'm just saying, I know that Texas influenced the rest of the world.
Yeah.
But you don't, if you're looking for that Texas sound, those are your references.
Yes. But I don't know. They're way bigger than, where are they, 20?
Yeah, they're 20.
Like, you way bigger than 20.
100%. Right. So we're going to head on to our tier list and have a little fun.
Indeed.
Kind of enjoy ourselves. I'm going to try to throw as many wrenches into this program as possible. Okay. Once again, I want to remind us of our rules for this tier list. Both of us must agree on the ranking. We'll default to the expert in a disagreement. Sales and awards don't matter, and we know these are our icons, and so we're going to try to be as objective as possible when comparing them against themselves.
Because we are only comparing them against the group that they're in, or this 10, and just nothing else.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Fight me in the comments. Sorry.
I hope they understand those words. You should stop it. You should start ignoring. You should start ignoring the comments.
No. So let's go. We'll go left to right.
Yeah, we can start at their number 1. Or start at their number 10, sorry. And so their number 10 is frick. If I can get it into the right place. Their number 10 is The Roots. So compared to the other people on this list, which are De La Soul, Outkast. Can you read them? Because I can't see them.
So we got De La Soul, we got Outkast, Wu-Tang, NWA, A Tribe Called Quest, Run DMC, I think that's Public Enemy. Yeah, Public Enemy, Eric B. and Rakim, Salt and Pepper.
Where would you rank them as artists compared to the other artists on this list?
I mean, for me, we're going amazing or classic just because of how much they have as a collective by themselves over all the other groups. So the orchestration, how much time they put in, the single power of their MC is, bar none compared to a lot of people in this group.
Yeah. So I'm just now learning the flaw in this particular tier list.
What's that?
I feel like we should have gone with trying to figure out the top. We should have gone with the suggestion of taking. There's the airplane. We should have gone with the concept of taking the top 20 and trying to condense them to 10. So yeah, with the hip hop artists of all time, we can reconfigure this. But for now, so they're in amazing or classic for the Roots. I would say, comparative to this list, the Roots are good.
Yeah. Okay. So expound just a bit. So if we're doing this against a group, that means for good, to me, that means they're like not as good as 6 people? 6 of the groups?
I would I'm a visual person, so part of this is like not me not being able to kind of see the screen at the moment. So I'm gonna actually pull it up on my end. But in this particular situation, I'm feeling as if when I think about the Roots as a listener, what albums would I kind of go back to out of this group of people? And so with that understanding and me looking at it visually, I will go back to your ranking and put them at amazing.
All right, let's do that. There they are.
Your sound effects. By the way, audio listeners, if you hear any kind of rumblings overhead, we're going to try to, I'm not going to deal with that, but letting you know there's an air show locally. So that's what we're dealing with. So yeah, they're there. And let's move on to number 9 on the list, which is De La Soul. So where is De La Soul going to go comparatively to this group?
I'm going good. Because there are things that De La Soul does great. There are things that they do amazing. And there are songs that they have that are classic, as well as albums.
I feel like their most iconic song is Cocaine 80s Flow. Have you heard that?
I have not.
Yeah.
Are we doing it?
We're about to do this right now.
Are we doing this?
Just for the audio.
Are we
listeners.
doing this? Oh yeah.
So I'm gonna share Cocaine 80s Flow with you for the audio listeners, and then of course it's installing Spotify.
But while we're doing that, more so, it's really hard with certain groups because I think in the East Coast realm, so there are a lot of albums that we all consider that are classic all the way across the board. But there are a lot of artists in the top 10 who are more so, I feel like they're up there for founding father reasons, more so than like actual being better reasons. Like it's kind of like the T model versus a Bugatti nowadays to me.
I feel like you've said this argument before. Do you remember this?
Maybe a little bit. Or the T model. Yeah, I've used this analogy before.
Yes. And it just so happened to be on a tier list. So this is the third time that you've done it. Because the first time I remarked about it. So.
Like, I appreciate the T model, but.
Oh my gosh. So we were going to do a De La Soul episode at the time that their catalog released on.
Oh, yeah. When they got their masters, right?
Yeah. So when they got their catalog back and they were able to put it on streaming and they released their most recent album. And we were gonna talk about them. I think this was back in March, but we were on a break. And so here is Rock Cocaine Flow.
Up in them 5-star tellies saying 2 mic rhymes, beat them average MCs of the times. Unlike them, we craft gems, so systematically inclined to pen lines without saying the producer's name all over the track. Yeah, I said it. What you need to do is get back to reading credits. Read the medics alphabetically, stuck on that English shit. Now, before, that's your shop, your rock, cocaine flow. From the top of the key, the 3 villain. Been on in the game as long as you can really a twin. Turn the corner, spin it, bust that ass and get up.
That's why I'm glad that we are only comparing this to other people in the group. Sheesh, bro.
That is like hands down my favorite De La Soul record.
It's you know what's crazy about that to me?
Yeah.
Is it sounds very Roots like.
Do you hear anybody familiar in that one? Jake won. Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of unfair. But again, a lot of the top groups are going to be unfair because this was like the inception of a lot of people. I'm still going good though. comparatively to the other people that we're talking about, or that we're going to be ranking.
Where are you? I'm sorry. Where are you putting them?
Good.
Good. I'm biased because of this record, so let me get rid of my bias, and I would
Get that out of here.
I would actually go down to okay.
Okay, reason.
Mainly because we would bump them for other people
Yeah. Okay, we
that
did
belong
say
here,
that, yeah.
and so I would just, De La Soul is okay. And I'm also thinking about the listeners as en masse. Like, what would be palatable to most listeners, and their music is most targeted towards.
Wouldn't it just be like Me, Myself, and I?
What do you mean?
Would be
by
like
that?
the most palatable listening experience for, like, if you're not a hip hop head or whatever.
Well, what I'm thinking about is like, all right, so out of this list of people, what would the Super Bowl audience? Who would they know?
No.
And it's not likely that they're necessarily going to know De La Soul, so they're going to go in okay.
Shoo, shoo, shoo.
Boom. I will do the sound effects.
I feel like you're just gonna take my terrible sound effects and use them at other points. Cow, right here. Ding. Who's number 8?
Number 8 is Salt and Pepper.
Okay. So for all the reasons we just talked about earlier, I want to do good or I want to do amazing. And my reasoning is there is no other group like them.
Yeah, there's no way to deal with Salt and Pepper other than compare Salt and Pepper to Salt and Pepper.
Right.
So compared to this list, Salt and Pepper is amazing.
Okay. Boom. Boom.
Did you just do the Seinfeld like transition between scenes?
I think I probably did. Yeah.
It's pretty close.
I'm stupid. What's 7? Oh my God.
Oh, so coming in number 7, Eric B and Rakim. So this is hard. This is difficult.
So if I'm ranking a couple things to kind of compare them against the entire group, their lyricism and impact are top tier. Catalog, not long. So we got to dock some points in that regard in this here group.
You sure about that? Are you living with that choice?
It's a really hard one, man.
Let's listen to a little Eric B and Rakim and see if it changes our mind.
Don't sweat the technique. Don't sweat the technique. Let's trace the hits and check the file. Let's see who bit the dissect the style. I flip the script so they can't get filed. At least not now, it'll take a while. I change the pace to complete the beat. I drop the bass to MCs get weak. For every word they trace is a scar they keep. It's when I speak, they freak to sweat the technique. I made my debut in '86 with a melody in a president's mix, and now I stay on target.
I have to go classic.
Wait a minute. Where were they at first?
I feel like they were at classic. I think I was trying to argue for amazing because of catalog.
See,
But
see, this is where it's gonna get controversial.
man, like I'm really
Because
having
I
a
would
hard time with this.
just put Eric B and Rakim in good.
Okay.
They mean a lot, but in comparison with everybody else, they're in good because they're above De La Soul, but not above the Roots and
All right,
Salt and Pepper.
I'm with it.
Oh my gosh!
What's next?
Thanks. I can't even focus. So the next one on the list is Public Enemy. This is
Why do we sign on to do this? Jesus.
I think we just like getting hazed on the internet, maybe.
Okay. So we already know, and we said earlier, I think NWA has more impact than the group that preceded them and inspired them. So, and compared to like all the other groups, I think I would put them. It's gonna be good or okay with, and they're gonna on the same tier of De La Soul. In comparing them to the groups in this batch.
I'll do that as far as okay is concerned. But what I was tempted to do was move down and demote De La Soul and put Public Enemy above. What do you think about that?
Then comparatively in this group, we would be saying that De La Soul in this group, in this teammate, in this stupid tier list.
Ooh, this is
It's
a way
trash.
better list now. I like that.
Let's do it, man.
Are we gonna demote De La Soul so we can put Public Enemy in good?
We be putting them in okay.
What?
Because we know we got coming down the pipeline.
Right, 100%. So that means De La Soul goes to trash, and
Yeah.
Public Enemy goes to okay.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Switch up. Okay.
Good God. Good God.
Help us.
If we get flamed in these comments, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, me too.
This would be the best video we have ever released. Run DMC.
Classic.
You know what?
If nothing else for the Adidas. See what I did there.
I see what you did there, but I'm gonna challenge that a little bit.
So, comparatively to the other groups, and again, I'm doing this comparatively and without nostalgia at this point because I don't really have. I mean, I have nostalgia for everybody in this list, but I already know what I'm finna do. So,
You got Adidas, you got Walk This Way, you got like Christmas rap. Those are some of the most iconic ones that I remember. And then they just kind of, did their icon thing from then on out.
so I feel like the same about them in this group as I do about Eric B and Rakim. I think they're up there in that place of we're not judging the impact as heavy.
Yeah.
So compared to who we finna be talking about, that's where I think they should go, is up in the good tier.
Yeah, I would also put them in good.
Shoo, ha.
Starting to get less funny over time.
I couldn't figure
Or
out
I
if
can
that
or
wasn't
I
a good
can
one.
contain myself a little bit better. Next up, A Tribe Called Quest.
Rest in peace, Fife.
Yeah, 100%.
what are we ranking them?
You want me to go first
in this group? You gotta go first because I don't know what we're ranking them with in this group because they have it all.
So we got to compare them to everybody that we just ranked already, and then we got to compare them to Outkast.
We're not doing that.
Wu-Tang.
I mean, I know we have to do that, but
And NWA. For me, I am more likely to listen to a Tribe album than a Wu-Tang album.
oh,
And
I thought you were saying
then
something
a
controversial.
WNBA. Wow.
WNBA YoungBoy. Excuse me. No offense.
I'm going to have to come up with some graphic for that.
Then NWA.
Then the NWA. Yeah, so I'm actually going to go Tribe in the... let's go with Amazing.
I gotta agree. Whew, that was hard.
Did I just save your life? Where did you think I was going?
I don't know where I thought you were going, but that was gonna be difficult for me just off of this is another like how we were talking about the Fugees earlier in our long extended podcast that you guys should watch. You just got too much impact in 3 people, bro. And I know that there were other interchangeable members, but in just the 3, come on, man. Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Man. Terrence Howard moment. Yeah, what's next?
The hard parts. The top 3. This is who we're looking at. So NWA comes next. And in all of the honesty that I have in my soul, in my soul, NWA is good.
I was also going to be there. So there's no argument here. Yeah. That's all I got. Nope. Didn't have a sound. Nope.
Next up, Wu-Tang. Number 2 on Billboard's list.
Taking off with this, I'll take off with the first comment.
Are you the Migos?
Jets flying over. Huh?
Are you the Migos?
Oh. Yeah.
See what I did there?
Mi amigo. Golly. So, do you think there's a weak member of Wu-Tang Clan?
A weak? What kind of question is that?
Yeah. Do you think there's a weak member?
So I'm a little biased. I've done work for the estate of Old Dirty Bastard and his son, young Dirty Bastard, and what? That's his name. They've been clients of mine, and I didn't have to sign any paperwork to not say that. So.
You got 3 moments in this podcast that have
True.
like shown.
True, I am flexing a little bit on this podcast, just a bit. Actually, I would say the weakest links are those members that don't have iconic albums by themselves.
Okay.
So I don't know of a. Do you know of a Capadonna Master Killer album that like is by themselves?
Not off the top of my head, but
I don't know that.
No.
I haven't. I don't remember a You God album. But I could be wrong, right? Mm-hmm. But I know we know RZA, we know Jizza, we know ODB, we know Inspector Deck, we know Raekwon, we know Ghostface Killer.
No Meth.
Yeah, Meth. So there are members of the group that have gone and had solo careers that are just iconic, and so it's probably going to be like, you got Master Killer, Capadonna, those folks. Maybe Jizza, but Jizza had some records. So.
They still shooting at like almost, what is that, 70% of the group, or 60, something like that, in terms of like having classic.
Why are you asking?
The reason I'm asking is because if we're weighing that currently against Outkast and we're weighing that against the list of like what we're considering amazing and classic,
where we put them,
I'm thinking.
Do we have to nudge this list again?
I would at this point nudge Salt and Pepper down to good.
Mm-hmm.
And then put Wu-Tang in amazing. But that's hard again because with the list, they stand alone atop themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And to be that iconic, the fact that there has been like no other female hip hop group that we would even say is up there. But if we're weighing that against Wu-Tang, where that collective doesn't have many misses when you have many opportunities to,
yeah,
that's a slight bit more impressive.
Because, I think to have this many members of the group,
mm-hmm.
and I would say the only group that is synonymous to them is like the ASAP crew, like,
yeah,
you know what I mean, and the amount of members, but maybe not the impact wise, right? Because I feel like Ferg and Rocky are probably the most notable of that group.
Yeah.
I would say, move Salt and Pepper down. Wu-Tang going amazing.
What?
And we might have to promote somebody. So who are we promoting? Tribe or the Roots?
The Roots. Like it's gonna be the Roots.
I would argue Tribe.
I'm arguing Roots because Q-Tip is immaculate for rapping and production.
Yeah, but I'm only focused on this group. So yeah.
No, but I'm saying like with this group, because currently we're trying to my pick is the Roots. I think the production overall and the collective in regards to the Roots is better than what I would give Tribe.
Ooh, so
that's why I would.
So I see where you're going here, and it feels like it's touching on longevity.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would agree. Let's go ahead and promote the Roots.
Kabayao.
Kabayao?
Yeah.
Kabayao?
Yeah, I fizzled out.
So here's the problem, though. I wouldn't put the Roots and Outkast on this tier list at the same place. That means...
Are they getting demoted?
Do we scooch everybody down just a little bit? This does not have to be an executive decision, by the way. Like, I'm not running this.
For me and what we're discussing.
And I'm not going to argue it either, right? I'm just throwing a question out.
So here's what we got. We have the most iconic point blank period rap group of all time.
We have many of the most iconic rap groups of all time.
We're talking about the definitive, though.
Okay, so wait a minute.
In Outkast.
Yes.
I'm not arguing with folks.
Yes, but
so
do we scooch the list down?
So here's the thing. This is really difficult, as y'all can tell. We got the Roots. We got that longevity, which is on par with.
Well, the Roots
Outkast.
got demoted. The Roots got promoted.
Yeah.
So,
What they do, they still got to get demoted. Here's why.
okay.
Black Thought is immaculate. The features that they get are immaculate. What they do with one rapper is amazing. But Outkast does that with two who are of the same caliber.
I would say that in the Roots, Quest is like Andre. He's as eclectic and special as Andre. So when it comes to Quest and Black Thought, like those two hand in hand are like the duo that Outkast are. And so here's what I'm thinking. We don't have to demote anybody. Nobody's gonna go to Y for any reason right now. And I think hands down, Outkast is going to Classic anyway. So let's just put them in Classic and live with the list.
I'm down. Because there's no other arguments that I think I can make on behalf of the two. Because at that point, we just be, I mean, we are splitting hairs here, but we would just be being so anal about it that I cannot.
Yeah.
That's stinky.
You didn't have to go there, but okay. That has been our tier list. We want to know what you think about this tier list. We want you to make your own. I'll go ahead and put the link down in the description in this video and in this audio podcast. Like, where would you rank these individuals if you were going to rank them from Classic down to Y? And yeah, we want to hear from you about that ranking.
Yeah. Make sure that if you enjoyed this video, you hit a like, you subscribe, you share it with your friends. And if nothing else, have a great day. A 1 and a 2 and peace.